Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuhu. My name is Johaisah B, Hadji Isah, and I am part of Group 6, reporting on life legacy of notable Bangsamoro leader. And I am going to talk about one of the prominent figure in history of the Bangsamoro leaders, or known as matalino at matapang na tagapagbuklod ng lahi. At ito ay nagangalan na si Sultan Kudarat. So sino nga ba si Sultan Kudarat? Muhammad Tipatuan, or best known as Sultan Kudarat, was a powerful sultan of Maguindanao from 1619 to 1671. He was a powerful leader, warrior, and diplomat who played a significant role in shaping the history of the Philippines, particularly in southern region of Mindanao.
During his reign, the power of Maguindanao Sultanate was at its peak. His domain has already covered the expanse of 9 provinces, namely Lanao del Norte, Lanao del Sur, Maguindanao, Cotabato, South Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, Sarangani, Zamboanga Sibugay, and Zamboanga del Sur. Moreover, Sultan Kudarat also had some ties with the Sulu Sultanates when he became the son-in-law of Sultan Mualil Wasi. After he married the daughter of Sultan Wasi, Sultan Kudarat's fame and influence were not just confined within his domain.
Sultan Kudarat was born in 1581 in Maguindanao. He was the grandson of Sharif Kabungsuan, the founder of Sultanates of Maguindanao. Kudarat succeeded his father, Sultan Laot Buisan, and expanded the Sultanate territories through strategic alliances and military campaigns. Sultan Kudarat is remembered for his bravery, wisdom, and leadership.
Sultan Kudarat unified the warring tribes and clans in Maguindanao, creating a strong and stable government. He resisted Spanish colonization and fought against the Spanish forces, protecting the independence of his people. Sultan Kudarat promoted Islam and encouraged the spread of Islamic teachings in the region. He established trade relations with neighboring kingdoms and countries, including China and the Dutch East Indies. He was also widely known and respected in the ancient Sulu Sultanates as far as Sabah.
Sultan Kudarat's legacy continues to inspire and influence the Bangsamoro people today. His leadership, bravery, and wisdom serve as a model for future generations. As a notable Bangsamoro leader, his contribution to the history will always be remembered and celebrated.
And that is my part for this reporting. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is Sittie Hajar Guru Racman. So today we're going to talk about the life legacy of notable Bangsamoro leader Dr. Ahmad Dumuko Alonto Sr. Dr. Ahmad Dumuko A. Alonto Sr. was the first Muslim elected to the House of Representatives and a pioneer of representation and unity. He had a long and impressive career in public service. He started as acting mayor of Dansalan, which is now Marawi City, during the 1940s. During the Japanese occupation, he also served as acting governor of Lanao. After World War II, he became a presidential assistant and advisor to the office of the president. Later, he was elected congressman of undivided Lanao and then became a senator of the Philippines from 1955 to 1961. Beyond this, he played a key role in shaping the Philippine Constitution as a delegate to 1971 to 1972 Constitutional Convention and the 1986 Constitutional Commission. Ahmad Dumuko Alonto was a notable Filipino-Muslim lawyer, educator, and statesman who dedicated his life to achieving genuine autonomy for Muslim Mindanao. He promoted the integration of Muslim Filipinos into the nation while preserving their cultural and religious heritage, and he played an important role in advancing education and development in the region. Ahmad Dumuko Alonto Sr. supported the integration of Muslims into the Philippines while keeping their culture and faith. He believed in unity in diversity, allowing Muslims to live in harmony without losing their identity. As a delegate to the 1971 Constitutional Convention and 1986 Constitutional Commission, he helped propose an autonomous region for Muslim Mindanao, later becoming BARM. He also represented the Philippines at the 1955 Bandung Conference, raising international awareness of Muslim Filipino issues and promoting peace in Mindanao. As a senator, Ahmad Dumuko Alonto helped build many important schools and organizations in Mindanao. He created the Mindanao Development Authority, the Commission on National Integration, and Mindanao State University, which gave scholarships to many Muslim students. He also made Islamic holidays officially recognized in the law. Besides this, he founded the Mindanao Islamic University and the Mindanao Mosque and Islamic Center in Marawi City to support education and religion in the Muslim community. Ahmad Dumuko Alonto played an important role in the Moro movement by inspiring Muslims to stand up for their rights. His work influenced the creation of groups like the Moro National Liberation Front, which is known MNLF, and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front MILF. Although he always preferred peaceful solutions, he also opposed the Marcos dictatorship and helped bring international attention to the challenges faced by Muslim Filipinos. Ahmad Dumuko Alonto was recognized for his great work in Islam and for helping the Muslim community. In 1988, he received the King Faisal Prize for service to Islam. He is remembered as a respected leader and reformer who dedicated his life to defending the rights of the Bangsamoro people.
Hi everyone, good day everyone. I am Saif A. Amenudin, and today I'll be presenting my report about Hashim Salamat, one of the most influential Bangsamoro leaders in the Philippine history. So first, that in this presentation, I will be discussing both his life and also his historical significance, especially in his major role in shaping the Bangsamoro struggle for peace, identity, and also self-determination. So now, let's talk about the first is early life and background of Hashim Salamat. So, in order for us to know kung sino talaga si Hashim Salamat, so yeah, let's talk about him. First is Hashim Salamat. We all know Hashim Salamat was born on March 7, 1939, which is in Pagalongan, Cotabato, which is now actually in at part of the Maguindanao. So he came from a devout Muslim family and grew up with a strong Islamic values and disciplines. So, bata pa lang si Hashim Salamat is that kilala na siya actually sa kanyang pagiging isang tanyag na matalino at saka pagiging isang religyoso. So, he had a deeper interest in Islamic teachings and also on leaderships. So, which later defined his mission in life. So, to pursue his higher education, he studied at the famous, one of the prominent university in the world, which is in Al-Azhar University, Cairo, Egypt. So, one of the most respected Islamic universities in the world. So, that's how standard Hashim Salamat. So, nakapagtapos siya sa Al-Azhar University, which is very prominent Islamic university. So, dito siya actually nakilala sa kanyang mga idea na sa pagiging pananampalataya, sa kalayaan, at also sa katarungan para sa mga Muslim sa buong mundo. So, okay, the next slide is the influence and also the early involvement of Hashim Salamat. So, in historical period. So, first is, while studying abroad, Hashim Salamat also became active in discussion about the condition of Muslims in the Philippines. So nakita niya actually kung gaano kahalaga ang pagkakaisa at paninindigan para sa kalayaan ng isang bayan. So that's how Hashim Salamat's very influencer when it comes to unity, when it comes to liberty as well. So he inspired by other liberation movement. So he wanted actually to bring a aspect or to bring a same spirit of struggles to the Bangsamoro people. So ang pagbalik niya sa Pilipinas noong late 1960s, so he actually joined the Moro National Liberation Front, which is we all know as MNLF, led by Nur Menswari. So the MNLF actually aimed to fight for the independence of most Muslim communities in the Mindanao. So we all know that they have suffered from a discrimination and also marginalizations. So in this fourth slide, we will know the split from MNLF and also the founding of MILF. Kung paano talaga si Hashim Salamat, kung paano siya na-disappear or paano siya nag-transfer from MNLF to MILF. So yes, however, as time passes by, differences in ideology and also a leadership began to emerge. So we all know that Hashim Salamat, naniniwala siya actually na ang laban ng mga Bangsamoro people ay dapat nakasentro lamang sa Islamic perspective, sa Islamic principles, at also at the same time, while Menswari's leadership leaned more on secular and also political ideas. So yan actually yung differences ng dalawa. Si Hashim Salamat, siya kasi gusto niya is that fighting for with Islamic perspective. So kung saan dapat may proper jihad. So on the other hand, si Nur Menswari is naniniwala siya kasi na kapag ang pagiging sa leadership sa Bangsamoro is that kailangan maglin siya o more on secular and political ideas. So doon actually nag-separate ang dalawa, which is nag-separate ng perspective, nagkaiba ng perspective ang dalawa, which is si Hashim Salamat and also si Nur Menswari. So okay, because of these differences, Salamat decided to separate from the MNLF, which is the Moro, which is the Moro. So which is the Moro National Liberation Front. He because of these differences, yun nga, nag-separate si Salamat from the perspective or from the group of MNLF and established the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, which is we all know naman sa ngayon na MILF. MILF. Okay, magkaiba po yung MNLF at saka MILF. Moro Islamic Liberation Front, which is in the early 1980s yan na na-establish. So for him kay Salamat, para kay Salamat, the MILF was not just a political movement but also a spiritual struggle for justice, peace, and also a unity. So yan kasi yung perspective ni Hashim Salamat. That's why gi-create niya sa pagiging isang movement yung MILF. So next to the next slide, which is the ideals and leaderships of Hashim Salamat. So in order for us to know kung paano ba naging ideal o paano ba naging ka-ideal si Hashim Salamat, kung paano natin malaman kung mabuti ba yung leadership ni Hashim Salamat or hindi. So this point is for you. So as the leader of the MILF, Moro Islamic Liberation Front, Salamat strongly advocate for peace, justice, and also a self-governance. So for the Bangsamoro people, so yan yung mga adjectives or good katangian ni Hashim Salamat. So naniniwala siya na ang tunay na kapayapaan is makakamtan lamang yan kung may respeto tayo sa pananampalataya, kultura, and also ay karapatan para sa mga Muslims. Okay. Despite the ongoing armed conflict, Salamat also continued to promote dialogue and peaceful negotiation. So he once said that the MILF ultimate goal is not war. Okay, ang naniniwala si Hashim Salamat, perspective ni Hashim Salamat, ang isang MILF, the ultimate MILF is the goal is not war. Hindi daw war, but as a just a lasting peace in Mindanao. So next proceed tayo sa slide, which is the challenges and also the struggle of Hashim Salamat. Ano nga yung naging challenge and struggle ni Hashim Salamat? So throughout his leadership, Salamat also faced a many challenges from a military confrontations to internal disagreement within the movement. So pero kahit si Hashim Salamat, kahit maraming pagsubok yan, hindi yan siya sumuko, hindi yan siya natinag sa mga challenges na yan. So he also remained steadfast in his mission to fight for the rights and also the freedom, the liberty of the Bangsamoro people, and also under his leadership, which is the MILF, grow into a well-organized group that represented the voice and also the hopes of the thousands of Muslims in Mindanao. So yeah, next proceed tayo sa next slide, which is the death and also the legacy of Hashim Salamat. Kung ano yung date sa pagkamatay ni Hashim Salamat and also the main legacy of Hashim Salamat. So Hashim Salamat was passed away on July 13, 2003. So take note of that class. So due to the heart disease, yan kasi namatay si Hashim Salamat due to heart disease or alam natin sa cardiac arrest. So his death brought sadness to all the Bangsamoro people, especially the youngest Bangsamoro people. So but his vision and also the missions and principles continued to live on. So kahit namatay man niya si Hashim Salamat, na yes, yung perspective niya, yung mission niya, yung vision niya, yung principles niya, hindi yan basta-basta namamatay din. Kasi nag-continue yan as time pass by. So yes, okay, his effort greatly influenced the peace process between the Philippine government and also the MILF. So eventually, this negotiation led to the creation of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. We all known as BARM. Okay, the realization of Hashim Salamat's lifelong is dream for his people. So tingnan natin. si Hashim Salamat, isa sa pinaka-centered niya talaga. Like, for example, people-centered talaga si Hashim Salamat. So, mas gusto niyang i-prioritize, mas priority niya talaga ang kanyang mga kapwa or ang kanyang people. Okay. For the next slide, which is the contribution and also the significance in history kay Hashim Salamat. So, in order for us to know ano nga yung naging contribution or significant ni Hashim Salamat, so this one is for you. Point is this for you. So, Hashim Salamat also contribution is go beyond politics. Diba? Hindi siya kasi nakafocus sa politics. Unlike kay Normin Suare na focus siya sa secular and sa political ideas, which is on the other hand, si Hashim Salamat is mas focus, hindi siya focus, mas beyond siya sa politics. He was a religious leader or a scholar, a leader, and also a visionary who used his faith as the foundation as the foundation for justice and also the peace. So, tingnan natin yung kaibahan. Tingnan natin yung naging contribution ni Hashim Salamat sa pagiging isang leadership sa Bangsamoro people. So, I hope that we appreciated Hashim Salamat for his legacy, for his contribution and significance in the history of the Bangsamoro. So, hanggang ngayon, nananatiling buhay pa rin ang kanyang mga aral. That freedom must be guided by faith. Gustong iparating ni Hashim Salamat is that the freedom must be given, must be guided by faith. The peace must be built on justice, di ba? Parang equal talaga si Hashim Salamat when it comes to justice. So, mind you, that maganda talagang naging contribution ni Hashim Salamat in our history. So, I hope that we really appreciate that one. So, his life also continues to inspire many Bangsamoro leaders, also the citizens, to uphold unity, discipline, and hope. Tingnan natin yung naging significant ni Hashim Salamat. Gusto niya na kahit this time, at this moment, ang mga Bangsamoro people is nagkakaisa yan dapat. Nagkakaisa when it comes to discipline, when it comes to justice, when it comes to hope. Yan yung main perspective ni Hashim Salamat. So, in conclusion for this report, for this presentation, the life of Hashim Salamat teaches us that leadership is not about power, or is not about war, but about service, but about conviction, about faith. That's the perspective of Hashim Salamat. So, ipinakita niya talaga na ang tunay na tagumpay ay hindi lamang ito sa pamamagitan ng digmaan. Ito ay kundi sa pamamagitan ng pag-abot ng kapayapaan at pagkikilala sa karapatan ng bawat isa. So, his legacy reminds us that peace is possible. Peace should be in leadership when there is understanding, respect, and also a shared vision for the future. So, thank you so much, and I hope this presentation will help you to analyze, will help you to appreciate how Hashim Salamat contributed to our Bangsamoro history. That's why, thank you so much, and thank you. That's all.
Assalamualaikum and good day. I am Khalid, Lowie, Maranda. Aking tatalakayin ang isa sa mga life legacy of notable Bangsamoro leaders na si Nur Misauri. Sino nga ba si Nur Misauri o kilala bilang Nuralahi Pinang Misauri? Siya ay pinanganak noong Marso 3, 1939 sa Tapul, Sulu, Philippines. Ika-4 siya sa 10 magkakapatid at galing siya sa pamilyang Tausug, Sama. Ang kanyang ama na si Salidain Misauri ay isang mangingisda. Si Nur Misauri ay nakapagtapos ng Bachelor of Arts in Political Science sa University of the Philippines, UP Manila noong 1962. Nakakuha ng Master of Arts in Asian Studies sa UP Diliman noong 1964. Naging professor ng Political Science sa UP noong 1966. Noong panahon niya sa UP, naging aktibo siya sa mga grupong pang-aktivismo at naging tinig ng mga Muslim sa Mindanao na humihingi ng katarungan at pagbabago sa lipunan. Si Nur Misauri ay tinawag bilang revolutionaryong leader dahil itinatag niya ang Moro National Liberation Front o MNLF noong unang bahagi ng 1970s. Ang MNLF ang naging kauna-unahang malaking organisadong armadong grupo na lumaban para sa sariling pagpapasya o self-determination ng mga Bangsamoro sa Southern Philippines laban sa nararamdamang marginalization at historical injustices. Dahil sa kanyang matalas na pananalita at pamumuno, tinawag siyang Yasser Arafat ng Asia. So, sunod naman ang mga pangunahing kasunduan sa kapayapaan. Una, ang Tripoli Agreement. Noong 1976, ang MNLF sa pamumuno ni Misauri ay lumakda sa kauna-unahang formal na kasunduan sa kapayapaan sa gobyerno ng Pilipinas sa Tripoli, Libya. Sa tulong ng Organization of Islamic Cooperation o OIC, ito ang nagbigay daan sa mga usapin tungkol sa autonomiya. Pangalawa, ang Final Peace Agreement. Noong 1996, nilagdaan ang makasaysayang kasunduan ng Pangulong Fidel V. Ramos. Ang kasunduang ito ay nagtatag ng Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao o ARM. Bilang bahagi ng Peace Agreement noong 1996, naging ikatlong gobernador si Nur Misauri ng ARM noong 1996 hanggang 2001. Ang kanyang panungkulan ay naging simbolo ng paglipat mula sa armadong pakikibaka patungo sa pampulitikang pamamahala. Ang panahon ng kanyang pamamahala, may mga kontrobersiya o akusasyon sa kanya. Una, ang akusasyon ng mismanagement at korupsyon. Ang kanyang termino ay binatikos ng maraming Moro dahil sa mga aligasyon ng mismanagement at korupsyon. Nawalan siya ng suporta mula sa ilan niyang dating kaalyado. Pangalawa, ang pag-alsa. Noong 2001, naglunsad siya ng maarmadong pag-aalsa matapos mawala ang suporta para sa kanyang ikalawang termino. Tumakas siya sa Malaysia, ngunit dinakip at binalik sa Pilipinas. Pangatlo, ang graft conviction. Noong 2024, hinatulan siya ng Sandigan Bayan o Anti-Graft Court ng guilty sa mga kasong graft dahil sa maanumalyang pagbili ng 77.2 milyon na halaga ng educational materials noong siya ay gobernador ng ARM. Panghuli, ang Zamboanga Siege noong 2013. Si Misauri ay inakusahang ng pagiging utak sa Zamboanga City Siege noong 2013, kung saan maraming tao ang namamatay at na-displace matapos niyang ideklara ang Bangsamoro na Republic at tutulan ng bagong Framework Agreement sa Moro Islamic Liberation Front o MILF. Ang kanyang kasalukuyang katayuan ay patuloy na leader ng MNLF at kinikilalang chairman ng Central Committee ng Moro National Liberation Front. Sunod ang Special Economic Envoy. Noong 2019, itinalaga siya bilang Special Economic Envoy on Islamic Affairs to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation o OIC na nagpapatunay ng kanyang patuloy na impluwensya sa diplomatikong sirkulo ng Islam. Sunod naman ay ang simbolo ng Bangsamoro struggle. Sa kabila ng mga kontrobersiya, si Nur Misauri ay nananatiling isang matibay na simbolo ng ilang dekada. Ang buhay ni Nur Misauri ay isang komplikadong tapestry ng revolusyonaryong idealismo, pampulitikang pakikipaglaban at kontrobersyal ng pamamahala, isang sentro at makasaysayang figura sa Mindanao. Yun lang po at salamat po.
Good day everyone, my name is Abdul Lawi. We are gonna tackle about Abu-Sayyaf Group or ASG Group, violent Islamic militant or terrorist group in the Philippines that have been a big threat in the Philippine government. So let's go.
The Abu-Sayyaf Group is a violent Islamist militant that has engaged in bombings, kidnappings for ransom, assassinations, and extortion in the Philippines since its founding in 1991. It initially driven by an ideological goal of establishing an independent Islamic state. The group's activities became more focused on criminal enterprise over time, especially after the death of its founder. The key crimes and activities of Abu-Sayyaf Group: 1. Kidnappings for ransom. This has been the Abu Sayyaf Group's primary activity and source of funding for much of its history. The Abu Sayyaf Group victims have included foreign tourists, missionaries, journalists, and local civilians and business people, many of whom were released after large ransom payments were made by their families or third parties. The Abu Sayyaf Group is known to behead hostages if demands are not met. Second, bombings. The Abu Sayyaf Group has carried out numerous large-scale, indiscriminate bombings targeting civilians and government forces. MV Super Perry 14 bombing 2004. The group was responsible for the Philippine worst terrorist attack, bombing a ferry in Manila Bay and killing 116 people. The Abu Sayyaf Group has also been involved in assassinations, extortion, often disguised as protection money for infrastructure projects or zakat or alms, piracy and drug trafficking to fund its operations. The Abu Sayyaf Group was founded by Abdul Abu Bakar Janjalani in 1991, who had studied Islamic theology in the Middle East and fought in the Soviet-Afghan War, where he allegedly met Osama bin Laden. The group split from the mainstream Moro National Liberation Front (MNLF) due to the dissatisfaction with the peace process and a desire to pursue an independent Islamic state through violent jihad. After Janjalani was killed by police forces in Basilan in 1998, the group's ideological focus went under the leadership of his brother Gaddafi Janjalani and other bandit commanders like Abu Sabaya and Commander Robot. During this period, the Abu Sayyaf Group primarily devolved into a collection of factions focused on profitable criminal activities like kidnapping. In 2014, one of the group's prominent leaders, Snilon Hapilon, pledged allegiance to the Islamic State ISIS. Leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. This revived some ideological motivation and led to increased collaboration with other pro-ISIS groups, culminating in the 2017 Marawi City siege, where Hapilon was eventually killed by Philippine forces.
Due to sustained counter-terrorism operation by Philippine security forces, the Abu Sayyaf group leaders have been killed and captured, and members have surrendered. In March 2024, the Armed Forces of the Philippines have announced that the Abu Sayyaf group has been fully dismantled as an organized entity. That's all for my topic. Again, I am Abdul Lawi. Let's move on to the next reporter.
Good day everyone, and I'm Yusuf, and today I'll be discussing one of the most tragic yet eye-opening events in our country's recent history. The Marawi siege and how it reflects the rise of violent extremisms in the Philippines. So first, what is extremism? Violent extremism refers to the beliefs and action of people who support or use violence to achieve ideological, religious, or political goals. It's not just about having strong beliefs. It's about taking those beliefs to dangerous, destructive extremes. So, the Marawi siege began on May 23, 2017, when members of the multi-group in Abu Sayyaf, both linked to ISIS, launched an attack in Marawi City, Lanao del Sur. Their goal was to establish an Islamic State stronghold in the country. For 5 months, the Philippine military fought to retake the city. Thousands of families and displaced, and much of Marawi City was destroyed. Several factors contributed to the rise of violent extremism in Marawi. Poverty and lack of education. Extremists preyed on vulnerable individuals. Political grievances and historical injustice in Mindanao. Religious manipulation. Twisting Islamic teaching to justify violence. Foreign influence from ISIS ideology spreading online. So the Marawi siege caused massive destruction. More than 350,000 residents were displaced and over 1,000 people were killed. And Marawi city center was left in ruins. It also left deep psychological scars on survivors and raised awareness about how easily violent ideologies can spread. So, the government declared the city liberated in October 2017 and rehabilitation efforts continued through the Task Force Bangon Marawi. Various programs now aim to prevent radicalization, promote peace education, and rebuild trust within communities. So, the Marawi siege remind us that violent extremism doesn't grow overnight. It thrives where there's injustice, poverty, and misunderstanding. The best weapon against it is not just guns, but education, unity, and peace.